So let's see. So as long as we launch Draw.io app, you will see a prompt asking you to create a new diagram or open existing diagram. And if you see it, we will create a new diagram because we don't have anything that we have already produced. So let's see, we will create, and then we will have to name our file. In this case, I will be naming it hello because we will print out the word hello world. And from these options, we will choose flowchart because we will be designing flowchart. And as soon as we have clicked this, we can click create. So we have already created. So it will give you the things that it has already defined, but we don't want that. So we will select it and delete. So let's see, there are general tabs and the flowchart tab, but in particularly, we will be using the flowchart tab. We will find most of the symbol in flowchart tab because it is specially meant for flowcharts. So here, let's see. Before anything else, we will have to start the program. In here, we have this symbol, the oval shape, and it is named Terminator. And we can click it. So it will pop up here. And if you want to increase the size of the canvas, we can press Control and you can move the mouse wheel up. So it will zoom in. And if we move the mouse wheel down, it will zoom out. And similarly, if you want to move around the canvas, we can tap Control and then we can click the mouse and drag it to move around. And if you don't click Control, then we will be selecting. So if we want to move around, we will hit Control and then drag the mouse. And if we want to zoom in, we will hit Control and we will roll the mouse wheel up. So here, and we will have to type start because it is the start of the program. And what we have seen, we will have to output. So for the output and input diagram, we will have to use this parallelogram. You see, it says data. Tap it and it will appear here. And we will align it and then we will type what we want to output. In this case, we will be outputting, so we will type the word output. And we'll hit enter and then we will output the word hello world here. So the process is done. And if you want to connect these, and if you hover on these shape, you will see 4 arrows popping up, and each arrow indicates the flow of the program, which in other words, I have tell you guys that these are flow lines. So if we tap it, and it would automatically connect to the other symbol down there. Okay, so we have already output the word hello world, and we need to end the program. Again, we will use this terminator symbol, and we will click on it and we will adjust it. And we will have to type end. And again, we will hover on this thing and we will click the arrow. And finally, we have got it. So this is the whole process of outputting the hello world. So when we have clicked when we run the program will start and then it will output the word hello world, and after that it will immediately end. And so this is how it starts. And if you want to save, you can hit Control S and define a name, and then we can save it to anywhere you want. But make sure that you know where you will be saving, because if you want to find it back, it's really hard if you don't know the directory of where you have saved the program. So we will save here. Okay, so let's get back to our lecture. Okay, so let's say that we have already learned what we need to learn for this week, and we're going to start applying what we have learned today. And I'll give you guys a scenario. So let's consider a part of a program of an alarm app that would check the time to sound an alarm. So for the scenario, imagine that a user has already set a time when they want to wake up. So we will have to check the time And then if the time has reached the time when the user wants us to wake them up, we will have to sound an alarm. So we will only have to figure out that part of the program. For that, we will go through two stages. One is for analyzing, and the second one is designing the program. So let's analyze first, okay? So we will have to think of the purpose of our program, and the purpose of our program is no other than just sounding an alarm to wake the user up. So suppose that the user has already set the time that they want us to wake them up. So what we will need is to know the time set by the user. We want to know which time that the user wants us to wake them up. So if we have got it, then we will have to move on to next step. And what we need is the actual time of the clock. We are going to need the actual time of the clock because we need to figure out if the time has already reached to the time that the user wants us to wake them up. And after we have got both of those values, and then we will have to compare. We will have to check if the actual time has reached the alarm time. And we will have to keep checking until the time has reached. And when the time has reached, we will finally have to sound the alarm to wake the user up. So this is the analyzing stage. And after this, we can move on to the next stage in designing our program. And for the design, I have already planned a rough design of this program. And as the start of our program, we have got the start prompt. We will have the start of our program. And as soon as we have started the program, we have already got the input that the user has already set. In our scenario, I have told you that we have already got the time that the user wants us to wake them up. So we don't need to consider about it. What we need is we need to get the actual time. We need to get the time from the clock. And after we have got the time, we need to compare it. We need to compare the time that the user has set and the actual time of the clock. And there will be two conditions. And for this case, let's go to the condition where the actual time hasn't reached the alarm time yet. We will have to wait 30 seconds and then we will continue to get back to the second stage. We'll get the actual time again and then we will compare it with the alarm time. And we will keep doing this until the actual time has reached the alarm time. And then if the condition has met, then we can finally sound the alarm. And after that, it will be the end of the program. But of course, in real life applications, the process is much more complex and it will include more features like snoozing or dismissing. There are features where user can snooze the alarm for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And if we add those features, then this design will have more diagrams. But this is a basic explanation, so I chose not to include that in this explanation. So let's say this is all the lecture for this week. But there is one thing remaining. This diagram is a roughly drawn diagram. So what I want you guys to do is that I want you guys to draw the actual diagram of how this program works using flowchart and correct flowchart symbol. And you may use either Draw.io if you're comfortable with it. But if you want to manually draw diagrams on your book or on paper, that's pretty much okay. You can just draw it. Though the point is to understand the symbol of those flowcharts and the flow of the program and where you need to appropriately put these things. Okay, so it is time to say goodbye for this week. I'll see you guys next week and we are gonna get into pseudocode, and if there is a chance we will start getting into coding with Python. I'm Timmy and this is Learn Programming with Python.